It's all about money. It's always been about money and probably will always be about money, at least in our lifetimes. Why don't we get that? In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how we don't like to talk about money and why, and the problems that that causes and why we really need to start talking about it. You're going to hear some things here that you've never heard before. If you don't want to listen to the whole thing, you're probably best dropping off now. Still here? Good. Thank you. I think you'll find this interesting. Americans don't like to talk about money. Let me explain. Like wealth inequality, or poverty, or homelessness. Jeff Bezos didn't have to pay anything for Whole Foods. Link in the description below. Most of us don't talk about how much money the government gets every year in taxes, or what they do with it, or who they give it to, or why. Like the billions in subsidies to big oil every year, even though they keep charging us more and making more money off of us at the pump. Link also in the description below. Most of us have no real idea of how government works and all the things that it does that we don't know about, or all the things the government does that we have neither the time, nor the desire, nor the inclination to care about. But maybe we should, on all counts. If we had more time, and by that I mean more time off if we're working, we could devote time to understand all the things government does and why all those things are important, and why we should be more involved in politics. And why should we be more involved in politics? Because in a system of equality where everyone's vote has or should have the same value, then every vote matters equally. And your voice deserves to be heard. You deserve to be heard, whether I agree with what you have to say or not. To protect all the great things that make America great to all of us, including equality and civil rights, and opportunities in our history and our liberty, fraternity, and equal justice for all, we need to start talking about money and talking about these things. And most of us don't. We don't like to tell our family and friends how much money we make. We don't tell people how much money we owe or how big or little our savings are. We don't tell people how much we have in stocks, pensions, or 401k, if we have any savings at all. Most of us don't. And we don't like to have to fill out our tax forms. Other countries do it automatically, by the way. Link in the description below. And some are paying more in taxes than they should, while others are paying a heck of a lot less than they should. And some, especially the rich, seem to be paying less every year, while many of us seem to be paying more every year. And if we go to a church or synagogue or a mosque, we don't like to tell them how much we should be tithing. It's true, we just don't like to talk about money. I understand, I'm the same way. And when we do talk about money, it's usually an argument, either with our bosses or even our spouses. Number one argument topic of most couples is money. But here's the rub. If we actually got what we deserved as far as salaries, and for better or for worse, the government could do anything it wants, either to help us or to harm us. And recently, what has it really done to help us? But the government can make things cheaper if it wanted to. It can force companies to do that. It can take over entire industries if it wanted to nationalize them, which has been done in the past, not only here but in other countries. Like Britain, we could have all of our basic needs met if we just agreed to tell the government that this is what we want. And they will find the money to do this, either through taxation, or they can literally just print more money. We can get everything we deserve as citizens equally. And then everything else is just luck of the draw or what we put out there. But we all deserve our basic needs to be met. We don't want to feel diminished if we don't make enough, or what we think we should be making. We don't want to look like we're gloating if we do make a lot more than somebody else. And some people might be offended by the quote-unquote audacity of the question. Don't question them about how much of money they make or how much they're worth. They think they deserve every penny, and then some. Even the uber rich think that, no matter how little they do, or how many vacations they take, or how they treat the rest of us, or how much they screw with the rest of us to make themselves even more rich at our expense. We, the rest of us, are better seen than heard to them, and only seen at a distance unless we're serving them somehow, either as their employee or waiter or masseuse or bag person or whatever. That's how the rich see the rest of us. many of them at least. Others might be embarrassed by the wealth disparity. If you're one of them, please help fund my channel. Some might be like the Victorian landed gentry. They see us, when they see us at all, as modern-day serfs, wondering why we aren't respecting our betters, them, in their definition. Didn't America get rid of royalty and nobility? It's about saving face. That can be honorable, perhaps, even altruistic, depending on the intentions, motives, and the outcomes. The ends never justify the means. I'm not disagreeing with that. But here's the problem. If we don't talk about money, we'll never get to the biggest problem this country faces, besides climate change. And let's be real for a moment. Even the loudest climate change deniers have to believe in climate change. They're just lying to get support, the stupid who don't believe in climate change. And you're not one of those stupid people who don't believe in climate change, are you? I mean, climate change is wreaking havoc on the environment everywhere. Temperatures are rising. I mean, if you don't believe in climate change, you really have to be an idiot. So, you're either lying about being a denier or some hidden agenda there somewhere, right? You know that. So the biggest problem besides climate change in this country is wealth inequality. So let me give you some examples that you can relate to. This is about all of us. No one is this included in this. I don't care who you are or what you do for a living, but you probably think you do a better job of it than some other schlub. And that other schlub might be making the same or might be making more than you are. And you probably deserve more recognition than you receive. And how many of us are really in the enviable position of thinking that they're actually getting paid more than they deserve? Yeah, right. That most of us probably believe we're vastly underpaid, as statistics bear out. Many Americans haven't been getting raises in years, and the quality of our life has declined because of it. And everyone can agree that the dollar's just not worth as much anymore. That everything is more expensive than it should be. And putting away savings is getting harder, and savings are smaller. And the value of everything just seems to be less. And somehow even the value of life sometimes feels like it's less. Like nobody, not even the government cares. And every year more of us fall or start to fall behind. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be this hard, should it? Everybody deserves a chance at happiness, right? It's not just something I think I should have, or my tribe should have, or some group, whoever that group, should have. And nobody doesn't deserve the same chance, right? I mean, we all deserve happiness and human rights, right? I mean, we're all the same, really, aren't we? Yeah, we have our unique differences that make us special for better or for worse. And those choices and options certainly shouldn't be something that some rich guy alone should have. I mean, we're all Americans, aren't we? Aren't we? I mean, we all have at least some value, right? Who are we to say we're better than anyone else? Who's anyone to say that? We all deserve to be who we are. I do. If we really start to put a value on human life, where will it end? In a capitalist system, that means supply and demand. We've seen that with slavery. We've seen that with how companies treat employees. Do you really want some super, uber, entitled, wealthy, privileged, and let's face it, rich white guy telling the rest of us how much a human life is worth? Because that's what they're doing every time they cut staff, or deny us a decent raise, or gyp us on benefits and a pension, or don't give us enough time off, or make us perpetually work more hours for what feels like less pay, or have us work in unsafe working conditions. When, let's face it, most of us could be working from home for 4 days a week. I mean, other than the fact that we all deserve a lot more free time than we're given, unless we're some rich white dude who may or may not work in Congress, we probably don't get a lot of vacation time. And what do they really do for us anymore? All they ever do is cut jobs and pay us less until they don't anymore, and then they do it some more. It's a cycle. People in other countries get more guaranteed rights, more human securities that we here in America just don't get. Most don't have to worry about supporting a new family or getting maternal or paternal leave. They get all that. Yeah, they pay more in taxes, but if their lives are better for it, isn't it worth it? And they can get married with guaranteed securities that any offspring, their new love, pride, and joy will come to no harm if anything happens to them. And as they raise it, and let's face it, no noun or gender necessary, the little joy will never go hungry, will always have clothes for school and a home for them to dream under the stars, dreaming of their future. They will grow up safely, and they don't have to get a college degree to get a start in life if they don't want to. But if they do want a college education, which, let's face it, nowadays everyone should, they shouldn't have to go broke trying to pay for it. If we really want to boost innovation and progress in this country and have a new renaissance, what I call the Renaissance spirit, college should be free to people of any age for life, and government should tax those with the most to pay for it. I mean, really, how many vacations or vacation homes or planes or yachts should a person really have? And really, how much do the rich really deserve? Does that CEO billionaire really deserve to get so much more money than all of his employees? Does that actor or actress deserve to make millions of dollars for one movie? Or that football player? Or that singer? And of course, most actors and actresses and singers don't make anything in comparison to that. Does anyone really truly deserve to earn that kind of money? Billions of dollars. We don't even understand what that means. We have no conception because it's so much. Does anyone truly deserve to earn that? Especially when some of us can barely make ends meet. And some can't even do that. The system is rigged. I mean, really, what's the argument to allow a kid to go hungry or someone to go homeless so some billionaire has too much of money to spend in several lifetimes? Too much of money to spend in several lifetimes. I mean, how much is enough? It's just greed. And greed is bad for everyone, even the person suffering from it because they have avarice. We owe it to everyone, including them, to lessen their burden and their wallet. Have the rich feed some starving kids, and maybe every time the bell rings, another rich man gets his wings and goes to heaven. And let's talk about the young. The young shouldn't get a later start in life than previous generations, with less good-paying jobs and with more debt, because other people are creating more wealth disparities, and with it, the ever-increasing concentration of wealth is making it harder and harder for our young. And if you seriously think avocado on toast is a luxury, you don't know the definition of luxury, my friend. Not cough. Avocados and toast is la dolce vita, enjoying the sweet life, even if it's just for a moment, in comparison to sailing a personal yacht to your own personal island with countless numbers of people to serve you. Now that's luxury. Older generations would have a martini or a beer after work. How is avocado on toast different? Certainly it's healthier. And again, people in other countries, they get more everything than we do. They get everything easier with more time off, more vacation days, more benefits, and a guaranteed retirement without fear or want or need. They can truly enjoy life, and they have time to enjoy it. They don't fear that their human needs will be met because they know that their human needs will be met, and those of their loved ones will be met. In comparison, Americans are stressed and overwhelmed and burdened unnecessarily. Many of us live paycheck to paycheck. We fear, and we fear what fear brings for our future. People in other countries get a lot more free time off than we do. Sounds like they get a lot more everything than we do. Is it okay to be jealous? These are human rights. We all deserve the same, don't we? Are we worth less? You know the answer to that. When the government should be doing more for me and Americans like me everywhere. Just some guaranteed stuff so we don't have to go hungry or thirsty or lose our livelihoods or our homes. Make life a little easier. It doesn't have to be this hard. And really, why are most politicians not actually listening to us on any of this? What do they really do for us? Well, we know we can't keep plunging this country into collapse and destruction. The only way to bring us out of all this mess is if we work together and we agree with voting for the person who isn't going to bring this country to collapse, as a country and as a people, to destruction. Since we're all equal, no matter where we were born and what side of the fence we're on, so the guy that should be president, the one who isn't saying to stop immigration or to call and treat immigrants like they're less than human. If we're all equal and we just all deserve the same rights, wherever on this big blue-green ball you were born, and if we're all equal, and let me tell you, we put in office or we keep you in office, but only the latter is the reasonable bet, because the alternative will threaten the peace and law and order of this country. How can you expect a criminal to maintain law and order unless it's his whims, his law, and his order? And you know what that means. No more America. We'll live in a fascist state where we lose our rights and our freedoms. If one group loses that, everyone does. And under a dictator, any one of us could at any time. And we'll probably work more, pay more for everything, and make less. And pay more in taxes. So yeah, let's talk about money, because the game is just beginning. We all deserve the same things. We all deserve the same things. No one's life is really worth more than anyone else's, or less than anyone else's. So let's all agree that we agree on the same basic stuff. So if we agree to talk about money, if everyone can agree that most of us are underpaid and don't get the benefits that we deserve, like affordable or free healthcare, affordable and enough housing in this country for everyone, a safe environment with safe streets, safe places to go, clean air and clean water, a just and living wage, a guarantee of safety and security in old age, and local amenities. Why can't we have spas and pools and culture and art and museums and music close by, and places to go and live and have fun at any age without having to go broke, to meet, hang out, or to be with friends, or old and new, young and old, people of all colors and ethnicities and groups and religions and cultures and genders or lack thereof, or sexual orientations, because we're all human and we all deserve the same things. Just imagine what we can all learn from each other. What we all can teach each other if we're willing to listen and to talk to them. We could bring about equality worldwide if we work together, and we should, which means we all need more free time and time to go on real vacations, maybe a month at a time, and without the worry of losing our jobs or other worries like having to pay for more health insurance every year, or getting less and less and paying more, or going into debt if health for me or my family takes a turn for the worst. And we all deserve a college degree, or a second or a third, for you, for your family, for your children, everyone, if we want it. And we all have the right to mean something, to have value, and opportunity, to be something more in life, and to make a contribution, and a legacy, and a memory for ourselves, for our posterity, if we want to. Don't we all deserve those rights, and everything that entails? Birth to death, just basic protections for all of us. It shouldn't be this hard. At least a chance at the American dream before we're dead, and a burial without undue burden on our friends and families and loved ones when we die. And to be remembered with dignity, as any of us deserve, and to be forgiven for any sins done against us, as we would ask unto them. Yeah, we all deserve a decent life and a decent burial. Yeah, we have to start to talk about money, and we have to seriously talk about Trump. He's a liar and a conniver. And you're either connived or a liar to say he's good for the country. I'm not saying he doesn't represent your values. And like we said earlier, we all want the same things anyway. We're all equal, really. Again, who of us can really draw a line? And if he gets elected, he'll ruin the republic and turn America into a police state. Just listen to what Trump said at cemeteries about losers and suckers who fought and died for America. Isn't that reason enough not to support and give money to this guy? He can't care about America if he doesn't care about the brave men and women who fight and die for it. He doesn't care about the government or the stuff the government does for the rest of us, or the things the government should be doing for us, as we discussed earlier, or the men and women working in city, county, state, and federal government. Yeah, they get better benefits in retirement and vacation time than we do, but they usually get paid less. And again, we're all the same, we all deserve the same thing, so we should be getting their benefits and they should be getting our salaries. And everyone deserves bankers' time off, not just bankers. And a 4-day work week. And a just and fair wage for everyone. Everyone should have the opportunity to support themselves if they can. And if they can't, or if you can't in the future, the government should help you out. And back to free time and work balance. Right now, if we work, 5 out of 7 days of our lives are work days. Doesn't 4 out of 7 sound a lot more fair? Certainly not equal, not in our favor, but close, a lot closer than 5 out of 7. That's an extra day off every week. 4 work days a week, 3 days off. And that's an extra day off every week. 4 work days, 3 days off. That sounds fair. Gives us more time to enjoy life. And we'll probably end up spending more on that extra day off anyway, so it helps the economy. And let's face it, there are some people who look like they're always buying something and on vacation. We all deserve more time off. For family, hobbies, vacations, sabbaticals if we want it. Time to go to the gym, time to do something fun and memorable. And maybe romantic, just more time for you. Time to get caught up on fair and balanced news from reliable news sources. Not Fox, and come on, if you watch Fox, you probably watch it as much for entertainment as you do for news, let's be honest. You deserve the time off so you can do the stuff that what you want to do when you want to do it within reason. You weren't born to work. None of us were. We all have to come together if we don't want this country to go into ruin. And if we're all going to be engaged in politics, we need more free time. Because if the government of the country falls apart, who is that really going to help? Like the House of Representatives are doing right now, the looming possible government shutdown. And if God doesn't come back tomorrow, we have to live with these people. And if you want to make a contribution to make stuff better, an actual voice at the table, and if you want to make the world a better place, a way to do that without wasting your work life doing a job of no significance, or a job at least of no significance to you, I mean, really, we're all equal, then no one is really above anyone else. Everyone matters equally. Doesn't everyone's work contributions equally matter? Wouldn't it be nice if the government created these new agencies to solve real-world problems like obesity, bad schools, or even worse, public school educations, so we can live in a society where everyone knows the rules in place by them, where we all have a place to live and a safe and clean place to enjoy it, and time off for which to enjoy it. Even if that doesn't mean anything to you personally, you're smart enough to know that we all have to put our differences aside and come together to the table as equals, because any other outcome will lead us to destruction. We can't have a leader like Trump or one of his petty despots that will destabilize the country, give more tax breaks to the already too wealthy, raise our taxes, and cut our benefits like Medicare and Social Security that we've paid into and worked for, or other programs like guaranteed first-time home buyer loans, or guaranteed student loans, or guaranteed health care for all, or old age home protection, or caregiving when we're old, or disabled, or any of those things. We all deserve to live a decent life, to try to live happy, and have a burial when we're dead. Is that really asking too much? If we don't demand these things together, they're just work us more and pay us less, and raise the deficit more to pay for more pet presents to their donors like big oil with more subsidies, all the while making the rest of us grumpier as the temperatures rise and gas prices rise, just to hurt Biden in the 2024 election, those big oil barons, Trump's friends, who's giving Trump a casino for free. I mean, really, where will the corruption stop? Rich oil barons are more important to Trump than tens of thousands of people like you. Tens of thousands of Americans. You. Unless it's election time, then you're important. And if you happen to live in a district or state at play, then you're important. But that's the only time you're really important to Trump, unless you're praising him somehow and giving him attention. Not when you donate to him, certainly. He probably laughs at you, calling you a loser or sucker for your donations. If he says that about our servicemen and women, what do you think he says about you? When will it stop? So let's come together to that table and make the politicians give us what we all agree we deserve. So yeah, we have to start talking about money. And most specifically, how much we have to take from the rich to make all this worth it for the rest of us. We all have to start talking about money now, before it's too late. If this country falls, we may never get it back. And are any of our differences really worth that? Again, if God ain't coming around that mountain tomorrow, we still have to live with each other, don't we? Isn't it time we start acting like it? Like friendly neighbors instead of scary or evil acquaintances or others? Why are we letting the rich divide us? And that's what they're doing, divide and conquer. How can we fight them politically if we are fighting each other? Or fighting some other nation? We got to start talking about money. And a whole lot more than just money, obviously. We need to talk and listen equally, with respect and dignity that we all deserve. Equally. We need to talk with each other on our agreements and our differences, and we need to understand each other. Where we're coming from, what our needs are. And to meet and demand that our government and our politicians and the big corporations and oil industry who owns them are listening to us from now on. We gotta talk to them about money and how much we're really worth and how we're not gonna take this anymore. Through the ballot box, I mean. We gotta vote for progressive and liberal candidates who can agree with our personal values. They're out there. They do exist. They might not call themselves liberals and progressives. They might call themselves conservatives. But if they agree that we're all equal and deserve the same things in life and support a political agenda that makes that a reality, then, in reality, they're a liberal. They're a progressive. All the other beliefs are just personal. There are even some liberal politicians out there who don't believe in abortion. They're fewer in number and probably Catholic, but they exist. But they might not call themselves liberals or progressives. But that's what they are if they believe in equality. We should all wear the badge of liberal and progressive in honor. And yeah, even amongst friends there are differences. Take for example, the many Republicans that agree that abortion should be legal. See, we all agree on some things and disagree on others. Who we are and how we treat each other is the most important part of society and what government should be there for. Not constantly threatening other countries or our climate or our way of life or our standard of living. And that's exactly what government does now. Just look at this looming shutdown led by the Republicans. If government can't raise our standard of living like it used to, then we need a new and a lot more new politicians. Maybe someone deciding to run for the first time on a whim or more to make the world a better place and to look to make that happen for everyone. Maybe that's you watching my video right now, inspiring you to action. A platform of equality and everything that means. If you do, you're going to need to talk about money and wear that badge of liberal with honor and pride. You deserve it. And these people who want the same equal rights and opportunity that we all want, since we're all equal, they're the future leaders and our best minds and thinkers. We need you in our numbers to make America great for all Americans. And you bet we'll all be talking about money. This video is a series that I call the Renaissance Spirit. More than a style for life, growing, learning, thinking, and more. Live the Renaissance Spirit. Take care. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and check out my other videos on these topics.